It's time to start your morning by taking 5. Here's your host, Matt McMaster.
You are listening to Take 5, a quick 5-minute take on the biggest things happening in Nebraska sports. I am your host, Matt McMaster, and we will be talking about the first press conference of spring football. Matt Rhule, along with a couple other players, spoke today. We'll just get into what Coach Rhule talked about. 20 minutes, half the time of what he spent last time he spoke to the media. A couple of quick points to get to. Number one, right off the gate, and I think this is just kind of the most important thing to know, just kind of from every aspect, not just a media aspect, but a fan aspect. Like, he made it very clear. Spring is about figuring out who can play as opposed to who is going to play. And I just think that's a good thing. And there's a reason he said it first, and there's a reason he put it out there. This is the season, and I think that we all, whether you're covering it or just following it, have to recognize no depth charts being made. No big decisions are being made. We're not deciding, or Nebraska isn't deciding who's returning punts or who's returning kicks or, any of those big decisions right now, who's going to be the starter and who's going to be playing in what positions. This is just an evaluation period of, okay, where is this guy at now? Where is he at the end of spring? What does he need to do heading into summer camp or fall ball, whatever the heck you want to call it? And then we'll reassess from there. And then when we get into late June and July and August, that's when the decisions, that's when it's, nut cutting time. That's when we decide, that's when Nebraska decides who's going to be playing against Cincinnati in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. So, very clear right out the gate from Matt Rhule, hey, this is about teaching and this is about scheme and this is about seeing who can take all this information that we're giving guys and go out there and perform. And so spring ball definitely underway. In that regard, he also touched on a couple of macro points. He was asked about Dion and Colorado and them playing a joint spring game, having joint spring practices with other schools. Coach Rhule said, if it's allowed, with something that we would do. He was then asked, why wouldn't it be allowed? He was kind of unsure, but it is, at this point, as we know, not allowed that teams can come together and have those joint spring scrimmages. So it was a... I don't know. It seemed like he didn't think it was something that could happen, but then didn't really want to reveal why he didn't think it would happen, but then also said, if it were to happen, that's something that they would be interested in doing. Just kind of a interesting answer, just in general. He then talked about rev share and NIL, and he used the word uncertainty. And at one point he said, I'm glad I'm not someone who makes empty promises or make promises when I don't know if I can keep them or not, because they just don't know right now. They don't know exactly what rev share is going to look like. They don't know what the implications of NIL during rev share are going to look like. The very popular date right now, July 1st, is when all NIL donations have to be vetted that are over $600. And there's kind of an uncertainty of whether or not that vetting process is going to stall big name, image, and likeness donations from places like collectives. And so there's just a big just question mark on what money is going to look like in college athletics. But he made it very clear that they hired Pat Stewart for a reason. They hired Pat Stewart to take care of these problems. They hired Pat Stewart to evaluate talent and put a number on talent. And he made it very clear that they need to make sure that they are being innovative and they are being smart and they are adapting and they are ahead of a curve. And there's a reason why they made sure to bring in a general manager before all of this stuff irons out, just to make sure that, hey, if it goes a certain way, that they're prepared for it. So kudos to them. A couple other housekeeping things. Talked about the defensive line, how they're really, really young. And despite the fact that they don't have a ton of production, he's confident in the fact that because of the development process, that a lot of these guys, Riley Van Poppel, Keona Davis, Cam Leonard, who have been in the program for a little bit now, because of the development that they've went through and the facilities and the nutrition, that they'll be ready to go and play at a high level. Talked about Malcolm Hartzog. He said that he's a guy that can do it all. He could play safety, play corner. They're interested in putting him at nickel. He thinks that he can be a nickel in the NFL, and so that'll be something maybe to look out after, keep on the radar as the season comes closer and closer. Said that he has no concerns with who's after Emmett Johnson when it comes to who is going to be the running back. And mentioned Quinton Ives and Mekhi Nelson as he's really confident in and wants to see, who believes that he can get a lot out of them. So the final point here, and I think this is just kind of the cherry on top of it all, made very clear to clear up his statements from the last time he talked about Dylan Raiola. Talked about how, I think the exact quote was, Matt Rhule said he knows that he can't be a quarterback at 240 pounds. And I think that was taken, and not I think, it was taken as, Dylan could be overweight and this, that, and the other. He's 240 pounds. You want him to be at this weight, and made it very clear that he said that Dylan knows he can't be that weight and play quarterback. He did not say Dylan was that weight, and just wanted to put it out there that Dylan is doing all the right things and he's working really hard and he's very happy with his progress and performance thus far. So just needed to kind of clean that up a little bit. But overall, pretty much as straightforward as you're going to get a press conference from Matt Rhule. Your little tidbits about the team, little tidbits about things that are going on nationally, his opinions on both sides, and just kind of straightforward speak on where the Huskers stand right now. So that's been Take 5, and I've been Matt McMaster.